Today's story is about Sergei Krikalev, the Soviet cosmonaut who left Earth as a citizen of the Soviet Union, but returned home to a country that no longer existed. While he was living aboard a space station, the Soviet Union collapsed. His mission was extended for months, and he became known around the world as the cosmonaut stranded in space. As you listen to this story, you'll improve your English while discovering one of the most fascinating space stories in history. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and support my work on Ko-Fi. The link is in the description below. Now, let's begin the story. Sergei Konstantinovich Krikalev was born on August 27, 1958, in Leningrad, a city that is now known as St. Petersburg, Russia. As a child, Sergei loved science, mathematics, and aviation. Like many boys growing up during the space race, he dreamed of becoming a cosmonaut. The Soviet Union had already sent the first satellite into space and the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into orbit. These achievements inspired an entire generation. Sergei worked hard at school and later studied mechanical engineering. After graduating, he joined one of the Soviet Union's leading aerospace companies. There, he helped develop spacecraft and space station technology. His intelligence, discipline, and calm personality quickly attracted attention. In 1985, he was selected to become a cosmonaut. It was one of the greatest honors in the Soviet Union. Training was extremely demanding. Future cosmonauts spent years learning engineering, medicine, survival skills, and spacecraft operations. They also trained underwater to simulate weightlessness and spent countless hours inside spacecraft simulators. Only the very best completed the program. Sergei was one of them. In May 1991, Sergei Krikalev launched into space aboard a Soyuz spacecraft. His destination was the Mir Space Station, where he would spend several months conducting scientific experiments. At first, everything went according to plan. Life aboard Mir followed a strict daily routine. The crew carried out experiments, repaired equipment, exercised for 2 hours every day, and watched Earth pass beneath them 16 times every 24 hours. But while Sergei floated peacefully hundreds of kilometers above Earth, history was unfolding below. The Soviet Union was beginning to collapse. Economic problems, political unrest, and growing independence movements were tearing the country apart. In August 1991, while Sergei was still in orbit, hardline officials attempted a coup against Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. Although the coup failed, it accelerated the collapse of the Soviet Union. From space, Sergei watched the news with disbelief. He could do nothing except continue his work. Then came even worse news. The Soviet space program was running out of money. There was no replacement crew ready to take his place. The government simply could not afford to bring him home. The situation became increasingly uncertain. Normally, another crew would arrive at the Mir Space Station, allowing Sergei to return home after completing his mission. This time, however, there was a problem. The Soviet Union was in crisis. Money was running out. The space program faced severe financial difficulties. There simply wasn't enough funding to send a replacement crew. Sergei received unexpected news. His mission would be extended. Instead of spending 5 months in space, he would remain aboard Mir for much longer. He had no choice but to accept. Life aboard the Mir Space Station was never easy. The station was old. Equipment frequently broke down. The crew constantly repaired electrical systems, computers, and life support equipment. Even simple everyday tasks became difficult in weightlessness. Sleeping, eating, washing, and even drinking water required practice. To stay healthy, Sergei exercised for about 2 hours every day. Without regular exercise, muscles weaken quickly in space, and bones begin to lose calcium. Despite all these challenges, Sergei remained calm and professional. His fellow cosmonauts admired his patience. Meanwhile, events on Earth became even more dramatic. On December 26, 1991, the Soviet Union officially ceased to exist. After nearly 70 years, one of the world's most powerful countries disappeared. 15 independent nations replaced it. Russia became the largest successor state. From hundreds of kilometers above Earth, Sergei watched history unfold. When he had launched into space, he had been a Soviet citizen. Now, while still orbiting the planet, his country no longer existed. Very few people in history have experienced anything like it. The changes affected every part of the space program. Government agencies were reorganized. Budgets were reduced. Factories that built spacecraft were suddenly located in different countries. Even the launch facilities were now outside Russia, in the newly independent nation of Kazakhstan. The future of the Russian space program was uncertain. Bringing Sergei home became more complicated than anyone had expected. News organizations around the world became fascinated by his situation. Many newspapers began calling him the last Soviet citizen. Others referred to him as the cosmonaut stranded in space. Although the word stranded made dramatic headlines, Sergei was never abandoned. The Mir Space Station still had food, oxygen, and communication with Earth. Mission Control remained in regular contact with him. Still, the uncertainty was real. No one knew exactly when he would return home. During the long mission, Sergei tried to maintain a normal routine. He carried out scientific experiments. He repaired equipment. He photographed Earth from space. He also spent time looking out of the station's windows. From orbit, national borders were invisible. There were no political conflicts. No countries. Only one beautiful blue planet floating in the darkness of space. Years later, Sergei said that this view changed the way he thought about humanity. As the months passed, Sergei became one of the most experienced people ever to live in space. His body adapted to weightlessness. His daily routine became almost automatic. But he knew that returning to Earth would not be easy. After spending so many months in orbit, his muscles had weakened. His balance had changed. Even standing upright again would be a challenge. Still, he looked forward to going home. He had spent more than 10 months away from Earth. He missed his family. He missed fresh air. He missed walking under his own weight. Most of all, he wondered what kind of country he would return to. Eventually, after 311 days in space, the moment finally arrived. A Soyuz spacecraft carried Sergei Krikalev back to Earth. On March 25, 1992, the capsule landed safely on the vast steppes of Kazakhstan. The mission was over. But returning to Earth was far more difficult than leaving it. After spending almost a year in weightlessness, Sergei's body had changed dramatically. His muscles had become much weaker. His bones had lost density. Even gravity itself felt overwhelming. When rescue teams opened the capsule, Sergei could barely sit upright. He smiled for the cameras, but every movement required enormous effort. Like many astronauts returning from long missions, he had to be carried from the spacecraft. His body needed time to remember how to live under Earth's gravity. But the physical changes were only part of the story. The world he had left behind no longer existed. When Sergei launched into space, his passport was Soviet. His salary was paid by the Soviet government. His mission had been planned by the Soviet space program. When he returned, the Soviet Union had disappeared. He was now a citizen of Russia. His country's flag had changed. Its government had changed. Even its economy had changed completely. Few people in history have experienced such a dramatic transformation while being completely isolated from it. Journalists from around the world gathered to interview him. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What did it feel like to leave one country and return to another? Sergei answered calmly. He explained that while history had changed below him, his job had remained the same. He had simply continued doing what he had been trained to do. He believed that staying focused had helped him overcome the uncertainty. Many newspapers called him the last Soviet citizen. Although the nickname was symbolic rather than literal, it captured the extraordinary nature of his story. He had become a living reminder of one of the most important political events of the 20th century. His mission was no longer just a space mission. It had become part of world history. Most people would have retired after such an experience. Sergei Krikalev did the opposite. He continued flying. Over the following years, he participated in several more space missions. He became one of the most experienced space travelers in history. In 1998, he took part in one of the most important projects ever undertaken in space. He helped assemble the International Space Station, better known as the ISS. Unlike the Cold War, this new station was built through international cooperation. Countries that had once been rivals were now working together. American astronauts and Russian cosmonauts lived and worked side by side. It was exactly the kind of future many people had once believed impossible. During his career, Sergei spent more than 800 days in space. For several years, this was a world record. He completed numerous spacewalks and helped build humanity's permanent home in orbit. His calm personality, technical expertise, and leadership earned him great respect among astronauts and engineers around the world. Looking back, Sergei Krikalev's story is about much more than space exploration. It is a story about resilience. About adapting to change. About remaining calm even when the world around you is transformed. While millions of people experienced the collapse of the Soviet Union from the ground, Sergei experienced it from hundreds of kilometers above Earth. He watched history unfold from one of the most extraordinary viewpoints imaginable. His story also reminds us how quickly the world can change. Governments rise and fall. Borders change. Political systems come and go. But curiosity, courage, and scientific exploration continue to unite people across nations. Space has a unique way of reminding us that, from above, humanity shares one small, beautiful planet. Today, Sergei Krikalev is remembered as one of the greatest cosmonauts in history. Not only because of the records he set, but because he lived through one of history's most extraordinary moments. He left Earth as a citizen of one country and returned to another. It is a story that may never happen again. If you enjoyed learning English through this true story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to support my work, you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. You can find the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next story.